All right, it's Peso back with another one. It's been about 5 months, but I'm back with a video. I'm gonna get into this Hebrew Israelite video, a quick breakdown. You know, if you're watching this video, you probably already heard about the Hebrew Israelites. You probably have either seen some of their videos, watched a few. I'm just here to break it down though. And if you know anything about the Hebrew Israelites, their main point is that the Native American, the Black and Hispanic men and women are the children of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 lost tribes, you know, and that we are God's chosen people, and that we're in this predicament now because we did not listen to his laws and commandments. I'm just here to break that down and say that we're in fact not the Native Americans. We're in fact not the Hebrew Israelites, that the Native American, the Black and Hispanic is not the Hebrew Israelite. The true Native Americans, the so-called Blacks and Hispanic people are not the Hebrew Israelites. That's a whole different group of people. I'm going to get into that, proving that we're not the Hebrew Israelites, that if you're from America, if you're Black, Native American, Hispanic, so-called from America, that you're from the land of Canaan. You're the Canaanites that the Bible speaks about, and this is something that they don't want to tell you. This is something that they probably don't even know because they don't have a I'm gonna just say they lack comprehension of what the Bible is actually speaking about. They use the Bible as their only book of reference, which doesn't lead you anywhere else but back to the Bible. So I'm just here to say that, I can prove that we're not the Hebrew Israelites. And, I'm going to have a lecture on that coming real soon. It's going to be about 2 to 3 hours, but it's going to be very informative. I'm going to use a lot of resources. I've done a lot of information. A lot of research. I'm going to present a lot of information. And I'm also going to use the same Bible that they're using, against them. So, like I said, we can't listen to all these teachings from the Hebrew Israelites. If you're saying that you're Black, Native American, or Hispanic, it's in your best interest to not listen to this rhetoric. I'm going to prove that in some later lectures and videos too. But this is the first of this series, on the Hebrew Israelites. But I feel like this is very important, you know. So, yeah, let's get into this. Let's start the video off. We started off at around 14:30, and we're just going to let it run. I'm going to break a few things down. So, Verse 15. The book of, you know what? Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Bring it out. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. You know why God did that? Because the Black and Hispanic man don't want to repent and come back to God's commandments. That's why he did. Now, quick observation, most people would say that this is a Black man arguing with, other Black men out in the street. But what I got from this is that this guy is a Native American man. This guy is the true Native American man that, that the Hebrew Israelites talk about. So this guy is actually a true Native American. He's the so-called red man, red skin man. And I'm from Virginia, and we had a team called the Richmond Braves, an affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. And their mascot out at the stadium, they had this red Indian statue out there, of the red man. This is at the stadium in Richmond. So if you know anything about sports, they're changing names. The Washington Redskins, they changed their name to the Washington Commanders. The Cleveland Indians baseball team got changed to the Cleveland Guardians. So they're trying to erase the history of this red man, And this guy right here looks more like this statue. This statue right here would be a representation of this man. This is the original Native American redskin man. Most people will look at him and say he's Black, but he's more so, you can tell he's your Native American. He's not this version of the Native American, the more whitewashed version. He's not this, not these guys. This is a more accurate depiction of a Native American red man. You get what I'm saying? So let's keep the video going. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. You know why God did that? Because the Black and Hispanic man don't want to repent and come back to God's commandments. That's why he did that.
Let's get the Bible. Let's read the Bible. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And we're not Christians, bro. We're not about to sit here and be like, God is all loving. God is all omnibenevolent. God is not omnibenevolent. I'm sorry. God is a terrible God. Thus saith the Bible. Read.
I found that part very interesting also because the Hebrew Israelites, this camp right here, they're preaching out of the Bible. But he just said that they know that God isn't all loving, isn't all good. He's omnibenevolent. So they're saying that God isn't always good all the time. Why are you listening? Why are you worshiping a God that's not even good all the time? You know, if God is supposed to be so much better than you, he has to be perfect. Why am I worshiping something that's, you know, not even better than myself? You know, I make mistakes, you know. So they're admitting that God isn't good all the time. Why worship him? Why follow his laws? You know, why why let him judge you if he's not good all the time? So these are just some fallacies in this Hebrew Israelite argument. And the point is to try to get people to understand that the true Native Americans, the true Black, and the true Hispanic people are not the Hebrew Israelites. These guys are trying to confuse and twist things up, you know. And like I said, you know, I'm getting into a lecture on that in another video, but that's going to be, you know, a longer video, a more extensive video. But let's just keep going.
Shall bring thee into Egypt again with ship. With what? With ship. The Bible just said that the Israelites are going to go into slavery on slave ships. God said, listen, okay?
All right. So he's saying that this Bible is speaking to the Hebrew Israelites because we're God's chosen people. I'm here to say that the Native Americans and the Blacks are not the Hebrew Israelites. They're the Europeans from England. So it makes sense that God would send them to a new world, you know, into slavery on ships, you know, and it specifically said Egypt. So let's run this back.
Get verse 15. I'm going to show you. On ship. With what? With ship. Shall bring thee into Egypt again with ship. With what? With ship. The Bible just said that the Israelites are going to go into slavery on slave ships. God said, listen.
So he just equated Egypt with slavery. That's very good. You know what I'm saying? Because Egypt will be a land of captivity, will be a land of slavery. And I'm here to prove that if they're saying that, you know, if they're reading out of an English version of the Bible, it's just giving a story of England's conquest into the United States or the New World, so called. The Bible is just giving a story about England's conquest. So I'm here to say that the Hebrew Israelites are not the Native American people, are not the Black people. You know, they're the people from England. Now, the Bible is just giving a historical account of what England did. You know, they came over into the New World. They went into Egypt. And I'm going to break down where Egypt actually is because Egypt is not in Africa like we're thinking. Egypt is over here in America, and it's mainly in the Midwest. Now, if you know anything about history of England and America, they first landed in the 1500s in the Midwest, coming through these seas right here. You know, they first landed in here and were coming down into here, and they landed in Egypt. This would be the land of captivity, wastelands, the land beyond the mountains. You know, like I said, I'm gonna do a lecture on this, break this down in the show. You know, prove what I'm saying here with more information. But like I said, that's for another video. But anyway, this would be the land of Egypt. And like I said, the Bible is just giving a historical account of England. You know, Egypt will be another word for slavery. A slave will be another word for people from foreign lands, people from the mountains. And if you know your geography, we have one of the biggest mountain ranges right down here. So these Europeans, these Hebrew Israelites, the true Hebrew Israelites, not the Native American, not the Black man, not the Hispanic, they landed in the land of Egypt, which would be in America today. But like I said, let's keep on going with the video.
Okay? Get verse 15. I'm going to show you. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass. This is going to happen. Okay? If you will not listen if you will not hearken and listen to the voice of the Lord thy God. Shalakia. That if thou will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. God said, if you don't listen to me, go ahead, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded this day, that all these curses, what? These curses, a curse a good or a bad thing? Okay.
Like I said, they keep their main points are that the Native American, the Black and the Hispanic man did not listen to God's commandments. But I'm here to say that that book was not even originally written for the Native American people. It was written for the people of England to show them what to do over here in America, show them, give them a script on how to conquer this land over here. It's not about the Native American, the Black, or the Hispanic. It's about the European. The European is the Hebrew Israelite. That's why his spirit, this red man, this original Native American, that's why his spirit, is going against these teachings because he knows that this Bible is not about him. He's not a Hebrew Israelite. But if you listen to these Hebrew Israelites, they'll try to tell you that you are a Hebrew Israelite.
Is the curse a good or a bad thing? Are you both? You take a pretty woman. Her curses, she's pretty. That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. 68. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. With ships.
I want to keep with this point right here. He keeps saying that the Lord is going to bring you into Egypt. But what the Lord did was bring these Europeans into the land of Egypt, right? Look up something real quick. So they have a town called Egypt, Indiana, right? That goes along right with what I'm saying, that Egypt is up in here. Egypt is this land, right? And then you have I was down in Memphis 2 years ago when I seen the pyramid as well. They have the pyramids in Memphis. They have the Ramsey sculpture over here in Memphis. This is all in Memphis, Tennessee. These Egyptian sculptures, these Egyptian sculptures and stuff. So we go back, like I'm saying, the Midwest, right? The Midwest is Egypt. This land to the east, to the west of this mountain range will be considered Egypt. And like I said, I'm going to show more information on this in a lecture, but this will be considered Egypt. You have Memphis, Tennessee, which is sitting right here. This goes all into your land of captivity, your wastelands. We're going to get more into that. But like I said, just stay with me here. The Bible is talking about a European conquest into America. And like I said, when these Europeans first came into America, they ended up in the wastelands. They didn't come, they couldn't step foot here first. They had to come from up here and they ended up right here in the wastelands. We're gonna prove that with the lecture, like I said, but let's keep going.
Okay, I'm in America. Give me Revelation 11:8. If I, okay, well, wait a minute. If by the way, we're up. This is talking to the Israelites. Okay. The Israelites. Well, oh, no. Okay, that's cool.
Pay attention to what's being said right here. This is very important as well. This is spirits talking.
By the way, we're up. Give me Revelation 11:8. If I, okay, well, wait a minute. If by the way, we're up. This is talking to the Israelites.
All right, so what did he just say? He said the Bible, he's pointing to the Bible. He's saying the Bible is talking to the Israelites.
Okay. The Israelites. Well, the Israelites. Oh, no. Okay.
And the Native American man just said, well, I'm not an Israelite. That's his spirit talking. That's what I want to prove, that the Native American, the Black and Hispanic is not the Israelite. His spirit knows that he's not an Israelite. He just said it. These are your Israelites. And doesn't this guy look more European? This guy looks like he's from the Middle East. You get what I'm saying? This guy doesn't look like he's from America. This guy looks like he's from, over here, maybe Spain, maybe Greece, Turkey. He's not from America. They have a guy that wouldn't even be considered black. But their whole rhetoric is the black, the Native Americans, and the Hispanics are the Hebrew Israelites. Well, why do you have this guy right here? You know, and why is the red man spirit going against the Hebrew Israelite teachings? We got to be real mindful of that as well.
Okay, that's cool. What's your nationality? I don't have a nationality. You don't have a nationality? I'm an earthling. You're an earthling.
Very important as well. He said, I don't have a nationality. I'm an earthling. I'm the original man from America, because the Americans are the original people of the earth. You know, we're gonna get into that in another lecture. You know,
you're an earthling. That's right. That's cool. So you put earthling when you sign up for a job. I do. I do. Checks off African American, but the niggas are earthling. No, I don't. I put other in
and look, he says he doesn't check off African American because his spirit, he's not an African American. He didn't come from anywhere else. He's the original man. That's why he said he does not check off African American. These guys, they check off African American. You know, there's no telling what this guy checks off. You know, he's not even black.
By the way, Rob, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Deuteronomy 17, he told the Israelites it was not going back to physical Egypt. So what is Egypt? The Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim or Matazarium, which means double straight, between a rock and a hard place, bondage.
He said the Hebrew Israelite word for, let's go back.
It's Mitzrayim or Matazarium, which means double straight, between a rock and a...
Double straights, right?
17, he told the Israelites it was not going back to physical Egypt. So what is Egypt? The Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim.
The Hebrew word for Egypt, he said, is the double straights.
Which means double straight.
If you know anything, right, like I said, if you know anything about your geography, these are the straights. These are the double straights. You know, these are the double straights. This is where the Europeans came when they first landed in America. You know, this is where they first came. They didn't touch here first. They came here, but those Europeans that the Bible speaks about, not the Spaniards, the people from England, Great Britain, you know, where the King James Version was commissioned in Great Britain. Those people came in through here first before they ever stepped foot on this eastern shoreboard. They came between these lands of two straits. And he said the Hebrew word for Egypt is the land of two straits, between a rock and a hard place, you know. So this is the land of the two straits. They came in here. They came in here, you know. They went through this passageway and they landed all up into here, you know. Like I said, I'm going to show the information on those straits in my lecture, but I just want to break a few things down right here.
Between a rock and a hard place, bondage, slavery. So God said you're going to go into slavery again with shit. If you don't listen to God, you know, by the way, Rob, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, when you get off those slave ships, go ahead, you shall be sold. Shall be what? You shall be sold. Shall be what? You shall be sold unto your enemy. To who? Unto your...
And the European enemies were those Native Americans.
Enemy, who was black people sold to, and the Most High gonna kill your ass. Because guess what? Black people were sold to white people, and God just called white people your enemy. So y'all gotta stop.
No, God did not call white people your enemies, and I'm going to break that down as well. They don't know their Bible. God was called, the European God was calling the Native American man in America his enemy. You know, when the European came over to America, he landed in the land of Egypt, the wastelands, you know, the Midwest of America. You know, if you know about your geography, the Midwest does not have, you know, grass, trees. That's the plains. Those are the plains areas. Those are your tumbleweed, you know, all that crap. You know what I'm saying? Not your oceans, not your trees, not your good soil. They landed in the land of bondage, captivity. They were in the wastelands. I'm gonna get into that on this lecture. I promise you.
Stop holding hands with the white man, because the white man is your goddamn enemy.
That's what they keep wanting to preach, but it's not about that. It's not about that. So I'm gonna break some more stuff down real quick. You know, let's look at this one right here. And if y'all want, man, I could share that these notes too. You know, this information is for everybody. That's a 16. Bear with me though. You know, my computer might need a charge. So, all right, so now we at the 27 mark.
You love the white man. It doesn't happen. You love the white man. You know how I know you love the white man? Because you served them niggas for 40 years. For 40 years. For 40 years. I served my country. For 40 years.
Now, this part is very telling as well. We at the 28-minute mark. So I'm going to rewind that, right?
The white man. You know how I know you love the white man?
Let's remember here, this is your Native American man. So I want to keep this image in people's heads. You know, this is your Native American man. This is your redskin. So this statue would be a depiction of the true Native American red man right here. You know, let's look at the Cleveland Indians. This would be a more accurate depiction. You know, the Cleveland Indians logo would be a more accurate depiction. Nobody is actually as red as this Cleveland Indians logo, but the more accurate depiction will be this Native American red man right here. You know, you can tell that he has a more red undertone, a more darker cherry red. Those would be your Native American. That's your Native American black man. You know,
Niggas for 40 years.
They have different phenotypes. So these will be your more Europeans. You know, these will be a more Europeanized black men. These guys right here, like I said, this guy's not even would be considered black. These guys would be more of your European, your mixed black person. This would be your more original red man, and this would be your more European black man as well from Africa. But I'm gonna get into that on my lecture. You know what I'm saying? There's different phenotypes playing right here. From what I see, this will be your true Native American. You know. Let's look at the Washington Redskins logo. You know, and it's no wonder why they changed the names. You get what I'm saying? This guy looks more like the Redskins logo. You get what I'm saying? So it's no wonder why they keep wanting to change these names. It's no wonder why most black quarterbacks did play for the Washington Redskins. You know, Donovan McNabb, RG3, Jason Williams, Doug Williams. You know, all these black quarterbacks that played for the Redskins, Haskins. You know, so they putting it out there in your face. You know what I'm saying? That the black man is the original Native American. You know, this will be a more original Native American. But let's continue though.
Nigga, I served my before you slave shit. I served my country before you left.
He just said he served his country. He knows in his spirit that it's not about the white man. He's serving America because America is his home country. He's not from Africa. But look what the Hebrew Israelite guy wants to preach, right?
Goddamn country, nigga. You love the white man because you served them niggas for 40 years. For 40 years. For 40 years. I served my country. For 40 years. This ain't your goddamn country, nigga. You before you enslaved shit.
See, he wants this Native American to believe that this is not his country when it actually is. That these are the dangers of that European English Bible, is that it makes you believe that you were African, that you were brought here. We were already here. The black man was already here. That's why I said we're not the Hebrew Israelite. You know, I'm going to get into that on my lecture with more information, but I keep wanting to repeat that same point that we're not the Hebrew Israelites. We're the people from the land of Canaan that the Bible speaks about, you know? And he's saying that this red man right here was brought in on a slave ship, when in fact he wasn't. But the African was. Not all black people are the same. You get what I'm saying? The African is the Hebrew Israelite that was in England working with the white man to conquer the red man. I'm gonna get into that. You know, it sounds crazy, it's a lot of information, but you know, we're gonna get into that on the next lecture. You know what I'm saying?
Just take this nigga serious. Okay, I died for my country. It's my country. But you're a slave.
It is his country. That's not what he's understanding.
Paying taxes. Paying taxes to a people that break their ass. You were just up here earlier. They raped my ancestors. They did this to us. They did this to us. They did that to us. He did that to us. And now it's I serve my country. Wait, what did I just say? But now I serve my country that's been raping your woman. What about that? Listen, what about this? Let me ask you. You talking about the one black girl that gets raped. What about the millions of black men that got raped by white people? I got one question. But you gonna serve these niggas in the military? I got one question for you. This is James chapter 1 and verse.
All right, so I'm about to go to the 30-minute mark. I'm almost done. I'm just going to show this one last clip. All right, here we go.
You don't even know the fucking 13th Amendment. I don't care about the 13th Amendment. Listen, you're still a slave. According to the 13th Amendment, you can be a slave. You can be a slave. I don't care about.
Look at the color of his skin. That's that Native American red man. This the original black man.
Because this is not my country. Right.
And like I said, the Hebrew Israelite is saying that it's not his country, and he's right because he's not the Native American. Native American is saying that this is his country, but these Hebrew Israelites want you to believe that you're not Native American. And that's what I'm trying to say. We don't have to listen to this Bible because that Bible is the European, and we're not European.
What's the laws in China? What's the laws in China? Where are the laws in China? You don't know, but I'm low educated. This is not my country.
He's saying it's a battle of spirits. He keeps saying that this is not his country. This is not his country. He's right. This is not their country. This is not the Hebrew Israelites' country. We're not the Hebrew Israelites are not the black person. It's not the Native American. It's not the Hispanic. That's the European. These are Europeans.
Because I don't care about America.
He doesn't care about America because he's not a Native American like this red man over here. He doesn't care about America because he's not a Washington Redskin. He's not a Cleveland Indian.
Goddamn America.
That's why he doesn't care about America, and that's why your red man is going against him because the red man knows that he's a Native American and he's not a Hebrew Israelite.
It's not our ranch. This is your homeland.
He said it right here. This is $1 million point. Let's listen again.
I don't study this country. I don't care about America. Goddamn America. This is not our ranch. This is your homeland. Because you're cool. Why am I here?
This is his homeland. This is the Washington Redskin. This is the Cleveland Indian. This is your Richmond Brave. This is his homeland, And the Hebrew Israelite guy just said it. He said, I don't love America. This is your homeland, pointing to this red man, pointing to the Washington Redskin, pointing to the Richmond Brave. He's saying that this is your homeland, and he's correct. That's what I'm saying. They contradict themselves. They said the Native American, the black and Hispanic man are the original Hebrew Israelites, were God's chosen people. But at the same time, he's saying that he doesn't love America. That's not his people. The Hebrew Israelites are not from here. They're from Europe. The Hebrew Israelites are not talking about the black, Native American, and Hispanic because this is our homeland. We don't have to listen to those laws of the Bible. But if you keep listening to these guys, they'll tell you that the Hebrew Israelite Bible, the English Bible is written about us. It's not. That's why his spirit is going against their teaching.
Because white people brought me here. That's why I'm here, nigga. White people brought me.
Look, he's saying nobody brought you here. You was born here because his spirit knows he was born here. Nobody brought him here. He's that Washington Redskin and that Richmond Brave.
Here. White people brought my ancestors to America. And go where?
Yes, white people did bring his ancestors because he's a European, He was over there in Europe because if you know your history, right, Europe was also mixed interracially with black, whites, people like that. Over here before it was mixed in America, it was mixed in Europe. They had a civil war in Europe that mirrored the civil war in America. Blacks versus whites. King James was a black man, King Solomon. I'm gonna get into that on the lecture. That's a lot of information, but like I said, I'm just here to break a few things down. So he said white people, the Queen of England, Elizabeth, brought her people from Europe. you know, because he's one of those European black guys. You know, he's a European. They got brought over from Europe to colonize America. And that's what this Bible is talking about. It's not talking about the Native American, the Hispanic, or the black man. It's talking about these people from Europe. And these people from Europe are the Hebrew Israelites, not us. You know, they're getting it wrong. They're confusing people.
And go where? And go where? Where in Africa? Where is?
Look, he said go to Israel.
When white people, give me Luke 21 and verse.
And he don't even know where Israel is, because Israel, right, according to the Bible, Israel is this land right here. Israel is this land right here, England. We're going to prove that. It's not over here. This is not Israel. It's over here. We're going to prove that. But, you know, I'm out, man. I'm going to do this lecture. Lecture coming next on all this information. It's a lot more I have to include. You know, it's going to be a longer lecture, but I was just here to break this down real quick. You know, just to debunk a few things, and the proof is going to be in the pudding on the next lecture. You know, so like, subscribe, share. You know, yeah, another video coming soon, man. I'm out.